One. Thank you. This is Gidon Ariel, and I'm here with my friend Abigail
Abigail
in
works
Hebrew.
great.
Wolf, right? Or Wolfer? What's your last
Wolfer.
name?
Yeah.
Wolfer. So we are veteran friends, and Abigail from time to time asks me very good questions. So I'm happy to answer them as best as I can. And this one I thought might be worthwhile recording for other people to learn about as well. So what was your question, Abigail?
Okay. I have compiled a prayer list and I want to include key positions and the people in those positions in government or military, whoever in your government setup, which is slightly different than ours, actually very different than ours. Um, I just wanted to be able to identify those positions and the names of whoever's holding them currently so that I can lift them up in prayer.
Okay, thank you very, very, very much for your heart in lifting up Israeli leaders in prayer. Lord knows, pardon the expression, we they need it. Um,
Do we all?
eh, is a thing. I'm very grateful that. Let me move this over to here one second. Yeah, I'm very grateful. This is backwards for some reason. Second. I'm very grateful that Israel is a democracy and our leaders get elected um, at most once every 4 years, but sometimes once every 4 months. Which is not great, but I don't. Maybe it was Winston Churchill who said that democracy is the worst form of government except for all the others. When Israel was first founded, the um, the socialist leaders were by far the strongest leaders in Israel, and that is why Israel was led by socialist leaders for about 30 years. We're talking about Ben Gurion, Golda Meir, and others in the Labor Party. And really, in fact, in those days, I think it was a very good idea because Israel really needed to combine all of its efforts in order to succeed in the beginning. But after a while, Israel, the people, just like in the kibbutzim, the leadership of the Labor Party came from the kibbutzim, the communities that were communal communities. Everybody shared
Mhm.
everything, everybody owned everything together, that kind of thing. But after about a generation or two, the members of those kibbutzim said, "No, I would much rather get paid for what I do, and as best I can, I want to be successful. If I can be a millionaire, let me be a millionaire. Why should that guy over there that's not doing anything getting any of my money?" So that's why, amongst other reasons, the kibbutz movement uh, waned, and for various reasons, the Labor Party waned as well. And the more capitalist side, which in Israel is called the Likud, um, I, it's called liberal, but with a small L. In other words, people who believe that we deserve our right to live and let live, as opposed to the socialist that said, no, no, you have to live for everybody, something like that. Anyway, that was in 1977 when the Likud party came to power, and for the most part of these past 49 or so years, it has kept its power. Most recently, the leader of the Likud party is Benjamin Netanyahu, and I think he's been doing a very good job. In full disclosure, I'm a member of the Central Committee of the Likud party, Benjamin Netanyahu's leadership party. And even though at first I came in trying to pull more to the right, the land of Israel wise, I have come to truly pray for his success as well and think that he's doing the best thing that he can for Israel. So in the Israeli system, you have a parliamentary system. You don't have a two bicameral system like you have in the United States with a with a Senate and a House of Representatives. You only have a House of Representatives, the parliament, called in Israel the Knesset. It's named after the if you will, the parliament of the time of Knesset Agdolah, about a few hundred years before Jesus' time. We had something called the men of the Great Assembly. The word Knesset means an assembly.
Okay.
So we only have that one party system, and not the one party system, the one house system. And right now, the more conservative parties of the Likud and three religious parties, really all four of the non-Likud parties are more religious. Some of them include also non-religious people, but they're all very, very pro-Israel. So the leaders of those parties, Netanyahu is the leader of the Likud party. After him come two Haredi parties. They are largest. They are, I think, 10 and 11 seats together. They are the Torah, what do they call it? The Haredi party, the ultra-religious party. I think the head of one of the parties, his name is Goldknopf. And the other party is the Sephardi religious party. I think the head of that party is what's his name? Aryeh Deri. Then you have two national religious parties. One is called the National Religious Party. It is led by Smotrich, his first name. Not Mordechai, I forget his first name offhand. But Smotrich is his name. And the smaller party, actually, those two parties, they ran together, but they split from each other, is called the Jewish Power Party, Otzma Yehudit, and that is run by a fellow by the name of Ben Gvir. His first name is Itamar Ben Gvir. So those are the four leaders of the coalition. And the opposition has about three or four parties, one or two or three Arab parties. I don't know what their names are, and a few center and left parties. The largest party is the party led by a fellow by the name of Yair Lapid, and he was also the prime minister for a very short time, for a few months. But now I understand that he might not even pass the threshold, which he needs to get 4 seats in order to get into the party. But we certainly deserve. He needs our prayers as well. He's of course a member of the Knesset, and we need an opposition as well. Within the government, as you mentioned, there are numerous what are called, I believe, in the United States, departments, like the Department of Education, Department of Health and Welfare. In Israel, they are called ministries. And so the Minister of Defense is a member of the Likud party, and his name is Yisrael Katz. And he's a friend of mine. Like I said, I'm a member of the Central Committee. I'm friends with all of the ministers of the Likud party, and also the people who are not ministers of ministries, but they are members of the Knesset. So yeah, so you've got him. He's the head of Yisrael Katz is the head of the defense ministry. Gideon Saar, he's got the same first name as me. He is the head of the foreign ministry. Smotrich, who I mentioned before, just quickly check to see what his first name is. 1 second. Bitzalel is his first name.
What is it?
Bitzalel. Bezalel, I don't know how to say it in English. He's named after the biblical character who created the tabernacle, who designed and executed the tabernacle. Do you know what I'm talking about? You ever heard of that name, that person?
Yeah, I think I have. And what is his, which ministry is he the head of?
Yes, so he is the finance minister.
Okay.
So he recently passed a budget, so he can be a little bit calmer. He's also a very strong right-wing activist. So thanks to him and others, we recently have established, I believe, about close to 40 new settlements in Judea and Samaria. So I'm very,
Yay.
very pleased for that, including one that's not far from my home. I haven't got time to talk about it now, maybe some other time.
Yes.
So we're grateful for him as well. The minister, if you've already mentioned it, the minister of police today is called the Minister of Internal Security, I think. His name is Itamar Ben-Gvir. He is a person that people argue about. What's the word? With a C. I forget the word. Because he came from a much, much, much further right tradition, the tradition of Rabbi Meir Kahana. If you haven't heard of him, you could look him up. But he is now doing a good job, I think, in in policing the state and in making sure that the police do a good job, and that's
When
something very important as well.
when you say policing the state, I have to ask,
What
does
does that
he have
mean?
a role in what's going on with Benjamin Netanyahu and being brought up on charges?
Not at
Does he have,
all.
okay,
Not at all,
that's a
but thanks for
different,
mentioning that because that's another important government minister. He is in charge of the police force,
okay.
and so that regards everything that has if there's somebody is driving without a license, until somebody who shoots at some sort of something like that. So he's in charge of all of that.
Okay.
And the Minister of Justice, his name is Yariv Levin, and he's got a very important job because we feel here, and I do believe that you guys in America also, I mean me and the people around me in the on the right side, think that the judiciary system, that is the Supreme Court and many other um, judges, have overtaken their responsibilities significantly. In other words, there should be a level of checks and balances between the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary. So the
Agreed.
legislative is the Knesset, the executive is the government led by the prime minister, and the judiciary is led by the Supreme Court. The problem is that the Supreme Court has been up until now um, not voted in, but
Hmm.
they get to choose themselves pretty much. So Yariv Levin, uh, the minister of justice, together with another very important member of the Knesset, whose name is Simcha Rotman. Together, they are trying to do a justice system reform, and that is I believe, to make Israel a more democratic state. Because when chief, not the chief justice in the Supreme Court, say, "Well, we don't like that law that you guys just passed, so we're going to say it's illegal." And even, to the point that even when the state of Israel, when the Knesset created a constitutional law, a basic law, which you would think that the the Supreme Court cannot uh, chop down. That's not the right word. Shoot down a
Hmm.
uh, a basic law. They said, no, we don't like that basic law. Again, this is a very contentious, and that's the word I was thinking of before, contentious and
Yeah.
controversial issue in Israel. I believe that it's very important to establish this this judicial reform, and we're praying for for Levine, Yariv Levine, and for Simcha Rotman. Those are the two people who are leading. Simcha Rotman, I believe, is the head of the Judiciary Committee inside the Knesset. So they're the ones that actually make the laws that that this has to work on. And let's see any other important. Of course, the head of the army is Eyal Zamir. He's a very important person, and we have to pray for him and for all of the. We actually pray. I will in a moment bring up the prayer for the army, for the IDF.
What is the name of the head of the army again?
Eyal, his first name is Eyal, 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 and his last name Eyal is his first name. His last name is Zamir. He was recently appointed to be the chief of staff. The lower level, when I say lower than the chief of staff, they're also very important, but it's a little hard to remember who's who. And
Right.
also, in politics, then you want to be on the front page. You want to be on TV so that people will know your name and that they'll vote for you in the elections and in the primaries. In the army, it's not supposed to work that way, so it's better that we don't know their names, I think.
So when you say chief of staff of the army, does that include all branches of the military, Air Force, Navy, all of it?
Correct. The head of the Navy is one level down. He is in the staff, I guess. In Hebrew, it's called the Ramat Kal, the Rosh HaMateh Klali. So he's a member of the Mateh Klali, the general staff, I think, something like that. So the head of the Navy, the head of the Air Force are both generals, and the head of the land forces, I guess. Whatever. I'm not too
Okay.
knowledgeable about each one. We pray that each one is doing a good job.
Yes.
In addition to the armed forces, there is also the Shabak, the Sherut Bitachon Klali, the general Sherut Bitachon, the general. I'm not even sure what it's called in English, but in Hebrew it's called the Shabak, Shabak, and he was recently appointed. That was, I do believe, his name was Zini. And he's a religious young man, not a young man. He's he's in his 50s, I think. And the anti-religious people in Israel don't really like him, but he was appointed and he got in. He's doing an excellent job so far. We're happy.
So
And there's all,
what does Shabak do?
I think
Is
that's
that
like it's either like the FBI or the CIA. I'm not sure which is which.
okay?
The inner or outer, and that's the Shabak and the Shin Bet. And there's something else that somebody was recently appointed. Also, his name is the first one's name is Zini David Zini Zini, David Zini, and this other fellow's name is Roman Grofman, I think his name is. Let me check. Goffman, Roman Goffman is his name, Gofman, and yes, he just was appointed the head of the Mossad, which I think that's like the CIA.
That's
The
my
he,
understanding is Mossad would parallel our CIA, so that would
so
mean that the Shabak would parallel our FBI.
okay, something like that. Um, I would also okay. Listen, what can I say? That is everything off the top of my head.
That's a good start.
And if you or anybody else who might see this has any questions further, then by all means, please reach out to me at gideon@roottheirsource.com or through roottheirsource.com. Contact us, the same one. Okay, did you have any other questions at this point?
Not really. Other than you should probably write some of these down so that you have them to send to people in an email, especially with the name spellings. But
Okay,
I think I got a really good start, key positions and key the three branches.
very good. This meeting, this program has been 22 minutes long, not too long. And we also have the Zoom AI secretary recording the main part, so that'll be able to help me. And also through this will be featured on YouTube, so they also do some sort of an AI. So everybody's helping us to get all the names down. But if you
Awesome.
will review it, I will send you. I do hope that in tomorrow's newsletter we will feature this video, and if so, if not this week, then next week. And if so, I hope that you will see it and review it and maybe write up those names yourself. And if you are writing
Okay.
them down now, if you send them to me, I'll be able to make any corrections also.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you
Sounds
very much,
good.
Abigail. Hope everything else is doing well by you.
It is. I hope it's doing well for you too and your family.
Toda rabah, shalom, shalom, and Chanukah Sameach. Happy Chanukah. We're recording.